So we have got 2 rounds to go in the Expert Championship, as I am now officially 12 points clear of Gronholm in the Drivers' Championship, and Peugeot at this point are basically just trading wins with their drivers. And because they now have a 20-point cushion on us, yeah, we are definitely not catching Peugeot at this point. But you know what? I don't give a shit about that, because I am 12 points up in the Drivers' Championship. And because of just how well earned that 12-point gap has been up to this point, I feel like I just want to get this finished on top. So without further ado, let's go to the land down under.
Rally Australia is one of the most popular rounds of the World Rally Championship. It's partly down to the way the organisers have turned it into such a spectacle. The driving is unique, as the forest roads around Perth are covered in tiny balls of gravel. They make the surface as slippery as ice, and the cars need special tyres to fight for grip. No one can afford to slip up in Australia.
And so here we go for Rally Australia, and where this time, although we are still going to be driving in slippery conditions, we are at least going to be driving in dry conditions, which means we should have more grip. And after scoring another podium last time out in New Zealand, I now have a 12-point lead in the championship, which is good for me because, well, to put it simply, I will need that to be the case. You know what, I'm going to keep that where it is. And just in case, I will save this, because I cannot put in the full Australia name. So I just call it Aussie, because that's the best way to do it. Now, let's go and see if we can successfully win some stages. I am honestly very close to quitting at this point. Like, I really feel as though I just cannot go any further with the just unstoppable torture at this point.
2, 1.
And it really does just feel like torture.
150
With just the amount of times you basically have to keep resetting yourself and then going again. And just doing that so frequently and so constantly that there eventually is one point where you soon decide to say to yourself, right, you win this round today, but I will be back to try again another day. That's honestly the sort of ideology that I've more or less had now for over a decade. Or I feel like I have more or less tried to convince myself in saying that there is a way to stop the torture if you beat it, but only if you beat it. And actually giving myself the excuse to beat it at this point that in and of itself is almost just tiring me out. As in, like, I really want to beat it, but I honestly don't know if the game will even allow me to beat it. Because this game is just basically... Because this game is basically just tearing me and throwing me about like a dummy. Like at this point, even if I feel like I do beat it, I almost wonder if the rewards will really be worth it. And I know there's a voice in the back of my head that will say yes. But it honestly depends on knowing if anyone else is willing to say that. Like, it's honestly a feeling that basically has my brain just saying no, and yet my gut saying yes. Typically, if you have a gut feeling, then most people usually tend to follow their guts. And at this point, it's definitely... It definitely feels like it has just pummeled me to the point where it does make me wonder if the continuation of it is really worth it. But yet, when I actually reach those progress markers, that's when I can just say to myself that I did it. That I actually beat the one thing that was basically just beating me the whole time. And it just seems almost indescribable with the amount of times that this game has already thrown me about. Like, it honestly has just thrown me and punched me about. And tried to do everything it can do to physically torture me, but yet somehow not kill me. Although I will say there have been stages where it has felt like it has been murder. That was a very minimal impact compared to everything else. You know what? I might actually give myself a break before getting on with stage 3. Because I think at this point, there's hardly anything else that can really be done. Especially since I have probably been struggling with this now for at least, I don't know, 45 minutes. But there's no way for me to tell because, well, I also turned off my monitor so I wouldn't be distracted.
200 left 2 over crest. 100 right 4 into left 2 over crest. 150 right 2 into left 4. 100 right 3 onto.
And I think at this point there is definitely something more to this that just wants to throw me out of it. But yet, because I keep fighting, I somehow just manage to plow through. Anyway, these are your results. And oh, Gilles Panizzi is out. Who would have guessed one of the Peugeots would be the first one out? Anyway, I now lead the rally by 8.3 seconds over Gronholm, Richard Burns 3rd, Petter Solberg 4th, Marco Martin 5th, And Toshihiro Arai in the Subaru is currently 6th. And there's the rest of the order. I'm also going to go and take a break before getting on with this stage because I probably need it. Like, I need my brain food to really be ready for this, so I'll be right back. Alright, now that I have had some food, let's now get on with Stirling East. And where, hopefully, if it's possible, the stage will not absolutely cuck me this time like it has done before. Because at this point of the day now, I just deeply want to get this finished. If I can somehow do that. Because I know this stage will do everything in its power to make sure I don't do that. But I am honestly going to do everything in my power to make sure I do finish it. And since I have actually had some food now, it might also help me to increase my in-stage awareness as well. Which means I might have a better shot of scraping through this with minimal damage.
200 long left for tightens, rocks inside.
Which at this stage
long right 5 opens.
is the one thing I really want to try and do.
Long right
As long
5
as that
opens.
doesn't happen too many times. Something that I was absolutely sure was going to happen at least once.
150 k rocks inside and over crest.
Because it just does that. And it's probably going to put me a few seconds down.
Over crest into right 3.
Because that's what it so often does.
150 right 3. 100
Whenever I do
right
these
6 onto left 5.
Stage 3 stages.
100 right 4. 100 right 3 into long left 3 over crest tightens. 150
And somehow I
right
actually
3.
managed to keep my car on the road.
100 dip into long left
Which is
4 opens.
one improvement I have.
100 left 5
Somehow.
over crest. 150 right
But aside
5.
from everything else,
100 over crest into
don't
right
know.
4 over crest. 100 caution over crest into right 2.
Maybe it'll
100
work
long left 4 over
if I
crest.
can just keep my car on the road. If I can do that, then I might just be happy with this.
70 long
But if I
right
don't do
2
that,
over
then it won't
crest.
surprise me either.
150 caution jump maybe. 100 over crest into
I
right
can
4 and
absolutely
left 2
guarantee
trees outside 50 right
I will
4
definitely
over crest
expect
into
one of those
left
things to
2,
happen.
100 left 5 into right 4 tightens
Because
over
that
crest.
is what this game does.
100 left 5.
It honestly punishes weak mistakes heavily.
100
that's what it's
KR jump
continuing to
maybe
do.
into left 2. 150 over crest into right 2 and
In other words, it
hairpin
just has
left,
to
KR rocks inside,
continue being a
100
pain in my
left,
ass.
over crest into long right 5.
As much as I desperately try to avoid it. And I have to say it that many times, so pretty much all of you can understand just how torturous it really has been to get through these fucking day 3 stages. I mean, if you thought it was malarkey enough trying to get through the first 2 stages, it's basically even more fucking malarkey just trying to stay in the lead of a rally after stage 3. because it will physically do
300 over crest into hairpin left, caution trees outside.
because it will physically do everything in its
150
power
hairpin right into left,
to make
five.
sure you do not
70 right, 3
get away
over
without
crest,
battle
into
scars.
left, 2 over crest. 150 right, 3 into long
Or
left, 4.
just without something egregious taking place.
150 right, 3 into left, 2.
And it will do
100
that.
over crest,
Trust
into
me.
right, 2, and long
It's honestly
left,
done it to
5.
me enough times
150
before
over
now
crest,
where
into long right, 4. 150
it's been
over crest,
indisputable
into left, 4. 150 long right,
with
2.
just
100 hairpin left over
how
crest into right 6 over crest.
treacherous
100
it really has
caution
been
jump maybe. 100
just
left 3 tightens over crest.
get through
150
these
long right 4.
fucked up stages.
150 left 6. 100 right.
And I think the only
3
thing that's
into
really
left,
keeping
2,
my drive alive is the
over
fact that
crest.
Granholm is currently just up ahead of me.
150 right 4. Don't cut rocks inside into
If it weren't
left,
for that,
3
then
over crest. 100
I would pretty
right,
much be
3
in no
into
man's land.
left, 1 and right 4. 150 long
Almost.
left 2 over crest into right
As
1
my,
and left 6.
Road is
100
currently
over
trying to
crest
conk
into
itself
right
out for
5
whatever
and
reason.
left 5 over
Couldn't
crest.
explain why though.
Finish.
Okay, P3. Considering where I started, I will gladly take that. I just really had to let a cough out there that was just stuck in my throat. Anyway, P3 for stage 3. And at last I actually get something good. And Alistair McRae finished P6 in the Mitsubishi. Also, shout out to Armin Schwartz for finishing P9. That's actually not bad. Oh, and we've had another retirement. This time it's Francois again. My teammate, Francois, by the way. So I lead by less than 8 seconds over Marcus Gronholm. Harry Rovanpera is third, with Richard Burns 4th, Toshihiro Arai 5th, and Petter Solberg is P6 ahead of my teammate Marco Martin. Then we have Tommy Mackinnon, Alistair McRae, and Robert Cresta, who currently rounds off the top 10, as we have 19 runners still left in Rally Australia. Honestly, all things considered, that stage 3 run went surprisingly well. It really did just go better than what I was hoping for. Trust me, it really did. However, I'm not going to be getting on with the rest of these stages today because I'm pretty worn out. So I will probably continue this tomorrow, where we get to day 2 and possibly day 3 of Rally Australia. Time now for stage 2 of Rally Australia. Sorry, day 2 of Rally Australia. And where it looks as though at this point, I think I have got a pretty good shot of winning this rally in the land down under. And in terms of repairs, pretty much the usual. But I think in terms of car setup, we should be fine, barring any serious mistakes of course, but I think we should be okay for this. As we now move on to Helena North to begin day 2. As I was wiping my nose for a second there. Anyway, let's get on with it and see if we can manage to hold our lead in Rally Australia.
3, 2, 1. left.
I did have a pretty good first day, all things considered, once I really got my shit together. But now I am hoping for something more. And I want this to be the moment where I potentially do get something more. If possible, of course. Well, off to a good start at least. So let's see how we go from here. Maybe this will be easy, or maybe it won't. Just depends on how far I can go in terms of keeping my car on the road. Which at this point is pretty much what I need to focus on. As long as I can do that, I should be fine. And I think my Ford Focus is a pretty well-oiled machine at this point. So there's a definite possibility that says I could just manage to continually sneak away. As long as I don't get too greedy, then I should be fine. Just gotta keep my focus and then we should be okay. As I bounce on the side of the road there for a moment. Almost tempting fate. Okay, I somehow managed to get out of there unscathed. Pretty much. In spite of all my efforts to not get out of there unscathed. Oh yeah, by the way, I know you can't tell this, but I have both my monitor switched off and also my friggin' how did I win that? By 0.04 of a second. I have no idea how I won that. That was unbelievable. But either way, another stage win for me, and also we got a Citroen in the top 6 as well. And we had 2 retirements, Francois Duval, but crucially, oh, Gronholm is out. Guys, if I can manage to keep this going, I might have just won the championship. If I can stay where I am. Well, as a result of Gronholm now dropping out, that moves Alistair McRae up into the top 6. That could be crucial for bolstering my chances of winning this. Especially since I now have a 13 flat second lead over Harry Rovanpera. And Richard Burns is in P3 ahead of Petter Solberg, Toshihiro Arai and Alistair McRae. Now we move on to Beraking Reverse. I am pretty sure this is where I definitely need to win this rally in order to well and truly clinch it. By the way, we also had 2 retirements in that stage, as Francois Duval, my teammate, dropped out again. I think that's now his 3rd DNF in the last 4 rallies, if I'm not mistaken. Not that that really matters, but I just figured I would mention that, because I believe that's what it now is in terms of DNFs. So Francois has been having a lot of mechanical dramas lately, from what I can see at least. But anyway, just gotta keep it together, and then everything should be fine. I do have a pretty moderate lead at the moment, so just to say things won't improve from there. At least I am hoping things will improve from here, because I kind of need them to.
100 right, 3 into left, 2 and
if I am
right,
to
2
clinch this
over
championship
crest,
with 1 round to go.
caution dip into long left,
Something that
2
is very
over
possible
crest.
now since both my championship rivals are out,
300 straight over jump onto left, 5.
which has definitely made me think it could just be possible to get it threaded. And in spite of that mistake, I still somehow lead the stage.
100 caution over jump into right, 4 100.
Gotta be careful over those jumps.
Left, 6 70 right, 3 into left, 1 care over jump 100 right, 4.
I almost
over
choked
crest
away my
into
lead,
left,
but
1,
thankfully I did
100 care over jump
manage to
into
hold on.
right, 100
Somehow.
care over jump and crest into long right, 3. 150
Yeah, you
left,
really have got to
care
be,
over crest into long right,
in some
3
cases,
over
pretentious
150 left,
with how the game wants you to view
70
the bumps in the
over
road.
crest into long right,
Like, you have to be pretentious to the
200
point
care
where
jump maybe
you
into
know there
right,
is going to be
3.
something there. Even if the game doesn't show it,
100 left,
you
5.
have to still believe that you
150
feel
right,
something is
2
going to be
over crest
there,
into left,
even if
5.
it isn't there.
150 right, 5.
But at this point, I've been driving really well.
100 right, 2
And I think it's
over
fair to
crest.
say my 13
100
second
caution, jump
gap up at the
maybe
front
into
has
long
definitely
left,
proven
3.
that.
150 right, 5 over crest into left, 4. 100 right, 3.
Okay, alright.
100 left, 3
Okay.
over crest into right, 2.
Just gonna keep it
150
together
right,
somehow.
5 into left, 6 over crest and right, 5 opens,
Okay,
200
one sec
over
to split
crest
to
into
go.
left, 1.
Please don't hit any rocks. I really do want to make sure I get my car.
100
I
right,
really
2.
do want to make sure I get my car home in one
150
piece
care
this
jump
time,
maybe.
if possible.
100 right, 4.
And
150
brake for the
over
jump,
crest into
because I knew a
left,
corner was
2.
going to be there.
100
Acted
right,
solely on
4
instinct
over
with that
crest.
one, but
70 long hairpin
honestly,
left,
my car is
over
just
crest.
driving so well at the
100 right,
moment
2.
that I feel like
70 over crest into left, 3.
it's almost
and
impossible
right,
at this
4 over
point
crest. 100
to imagine a
left, 3
scenario
into
where I
right,
don't
1
clinch the
over
championship
crest.
at this
Finish.
point. I mean, I pretty much do have a big enough lead now to say I have got it. And the fact that I am steadily pulling away from Harry at this point, it definitely shows I am absolutely doing something right. And also, my teammate Marco Martin finished in P4. Nice. And no further retirements as of yet. But with both my championship rivals now out, this is very much my golden opportunity to potentially wrap this up around early. As the Subarus are running well, and my teammate Marco has now moved up into the top 6. And Tony Gardemeister is inside the top 10 with Stig Blomqvist. And now we move on to Beret King 2, where we have to do another night stage. Oh boy. Let's see how this one goes.
3, 2,
However, thankfully, there is more visibility than there is on most night stages, which means we can actually see where the sides of the roads are. I was not going to rejoin the road even if I wanted to, because of that 3-second amount of time you get. I think I do have a 16-second lead in the rally still at this point. So I think at this point I probably can afford a mistake or two, but I don't want to make too many of them, because obviously that would be bad. And just because I'm leading the rally, it does not mean I can afford pretty much all the mistakes in the world. Because that is one thing I can guarantee you at this stage, especially since my main rivals at Peugeot are now out, and I actually rejoined the road under my own power. I still cannot afford too many mistakes at this point, so I really have got to be mindful of what's at stake. As long as I keep my car on the road, I should be fine from this point on. I can afford to lose a stage or two as long as it's not by too many seconds. But I figured if there was going to be any stage I would lose, then the night stage was surely it. Especially since I am now 6 seconds behind the leader. So maybe I need to start recovering that time if possible. I mean, I certainly want to recover anyway. And I doubt I am going to recover that, because that tree got in the way. Do you ever get the feeling that sometimes there are just certain moments where the game just does not want you to do well, but yet you want to do well at the same time? I definitely feel like I'm not the only one who has had those experiences. Like, there are definitely moments in certain video games where the game does properly fuck with you, and you're honestly just trying your best to not choke away whatever advantage you might have. But at the same time, you're also trying to make sure that you just keep driving the car as much as you can without choking away your intuition.
30, right 3 over crest. 150, right 3 over crest.
And I definitely feel like there are moments where the game does that. As much as you try your best to not become part of it, it just seems inevitable to say that you will become part of it. And I think that's a natural thing. Just gotta keep it within 16 seconds of wherever Rovanpera is. Sorry, wherever Rovanpera is. And then I should be fine. I kind of knew the night stage was going to be pretty much the crooked leg of this whole rally. Pretty much going from, I would argue, a healthy leg to an unhealthy leg. But I still have a big enough lead, and I recovered a second. Yeah, sorry about that. I kind of had my brother walking into the room as he was basically leaving to head home because, well, he tends to visit us from weekend to weekend most of the time, and I figured I had to be responsive to that. Anyway, Richard Burns wins the stage over myself and Marco Martin, and that went surprisingly well, if I'm being thoroughly honest. And also a good result from one of the Skodas as well as one of the Hyundais. Was not anticipating that either. Three of the 4 Peugeots have now retired from this rally. Jesus Christ. That is a lot of attrition from Peugeot. 3 of their 4 cars are out of this rally. That's going to cause a shuffle in the points again, as I am now 21.5 seconds clear of Richard Burns. So even though I finished second in the night stage, it honestly made no difference because I still wound up gaining time on my competition anyway. I was 13 seconds ahead heading into the day, and now I'm 21.5 seconds clear. So we've got 1 Peugeot, 3 Subarus, and 1 Ford all in the points. And we've also got 2 Skodas and 1 Hyundai in the top 10 at the moment. Nice. Still, 3 of the 4 Peugeots retired from this rally. I'm pretty sure if the attrition lock thing was not locked on 4 at the most, there would definitely be more retirees, I can guarantee it. But anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the cookie crumbles at Peugeot. And now we've got 3 stages to go. A rain stage, a cloudy stage, and finally a clear stage. Honestly, if I was not in the thick of this battle right now, and just trying to get this over and done with, I would probably unmute my TV right now. But because I have to finish this in order to win it, that's why I'm a little hesitant on doing it. But anyway, let's get on with Helena South. Also, I probably have a small chance of losing this rally now, because my main competition is already out. I mean, 3 of the 4 Peugeots dropped out of this rally. And I think if Ford does manage to get some points back on Peugeot, I don't think we're going to beat them in the Constructors, but we'll definitely gain some points on them. That is very possible at this point of the rally. But anyway, it's pretty much back to business as usual. As I continue to lead this rally. And at the moment, I am less than a second back. And I'm probably going to be more, because of how this stage has started. So I have got some work to do. But either way, I still have a pretty sizable advantage at the top. And I did just that. In spite of the mistakes I make, I still managed to somehow come away with the fastest second sector split time. And I could just do that again. And I do. As I now move 2.4 seconds ahead of, I think it's Alistair McRae who is second in the stage. In the Evo 7, if I remember correctly. I refer to the Mitsubishi Evo 7 if you're asking, because that was the model Mitsu were using at the time. Plus the Evo 8 didn't officially come to us until 2004. Plus after that they then had the Evo 9 and then the Evo 10, which was basically the final iteration of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. Often hailed by many as one of the most iconic rally cars of all time, and I win in the end by 3 seconds over my teammate Marco Martin. It's becoming more and more likely that I am probably going to waltz away with this rally, as my main competition Richard Burns finished P4, and Stig Blomqvist got a top 6 for Skoda. Nice. As I now increase my lead to 26 seconds, and hey, my teammate Marco moves up to P3. Nice. And we also have all 3 Subarus in the points still. Yeah, I definitely have a feeling if the attrition bar in terms of cars out of a rally was not locked at 4, there would have definitely been more retirees from this rally. I guarantee it. It's fair to say the Perth Wilderness would have definitely played more of a role in terms of attrition.
3, 2, 1, go.
But still, I think it definitely gives me some breathing space, knowing that 3 of the 4 Peugeots, basically the flagship team of the season more or less, it is just very unusual to imagine 3 of their 4 cars retiring from this rally. But even then, if I can manage to set a good time here, then I think we've pretty much got this rally nailed. And we've also got the championship nailed as well, if we can keep this good run of form going. I mean, I certainly want to keep it going anyway. And I kind of slipped on something there, but thankfully no damage was done to my ride. Just slipping and sliding my way through the Perth Forest. And I lead the stage by less than a second over, is that Delacour in the Evo 7 there? I think it probably is. As I almost slide into oblivion. Oh, and I almost clip a tree in the process, but amazingly I managed to stay out of it.
50 left, 2 into long left, 4 opens over crest, 150 very long left, 1 over crest, 150 care jump maybe.
Over the jump, pretty much keeping my foot buried in it before slamming on the brakes for that left-hander, and 2.5 seconds up on 2 of the 3 Subarus. I'd assume Solberg is probably further down in the running order, is what my assumption is. But at this point, I'm pretty much just riding off into the sunset with this rally, because of just how well this rally has gone, and also because of how poorly it's gone for Peugeot, with most of their cars out. I did remember to close the door as I am hearing a vacuum cleaner outside my room. But I did remember to at least close the door, so it's fine. Hopefully the filter is managing to mute that, just in case. But either way, at this point, I should have a big enough lead at the top. And I am also looking after my car, which probably helps. And just trying to make sure that I basically hold on for the win. Which at this point is what I need to do. I need to make damn sure I hold on to this. And I think I just might, if my car continues to run as well as it is running right now. But anyway. Oh, and I've dropped into the distance. yeah, no point in getting back up there, that would be impossible. Had to happen sooner or later. I knew I was inevitably going to overshoot one corner on a stage I was basically leading.
150 left for.
And on the brakes, I've gone too deep. That did not go very well for me. But of course I have taken some harder hits. Oh, there goes the stage lead. But you know what? It's okay. Because even if I do wind up losing the stage, I've still got a pretty sizable lead in the rally anyway, as long as I finish. I've pretty much got the rally all but clinched at this point, even with the mistakes I have made. I have honestly just managed to nail the setup for this, and it seems to have worked wonders for me almost, is what it seems, as I tiptoe my way through that corner filled with sponsors, and I somehow managed to skip the water splash. Don't know how I did that. Either way, it doesn't matter. Pretty much consequence free, and it looks like I might just miss out on the stage, but that doesn't matter because I am still able to finish in the top 6. All things considered, that actually wasn't too bad. Plus I only lost 3/10 to Richard, so good stage. Bad result, but a good stage. At least compared to where I have been finishing. But you know what? It's fine. I still come away with a decent result. And now we have just one stage to go, as my teammate Marco now drops down to 5th. And doesn't look like there are going to be any position changes, as we get through Langley Park for the second and last time in the rally. Just having a sip of water from my bottle, and now here we go, as I am racing Marco in the Super Special here in Perth. I think I can actually put the volume on my TV on now, because I have pretty much got this rally clinched. I was a bit hesitant about that at first, but I decided at this point, hey, I pretty much have the rally clinched now, so I think I can actually turn up the volume on my TV again at this point. I think I am okay with that now, from what I can see. I'm probably not going to win the Super Special.
50 left 2 into hairpin right, caution inside. 70 left 3.
But at this point,
100 caution jump over bridge. 70 right 2, 30 right 6. Don't cut into left.
I think
6,
it could just be possible
into long straight.
for me to maybe get a top 3 out of this. Or if not a top 3, then at least finish 2 seconds. Okay, 2.3 behind whoever the winner was. And as expected, Richard Burns set the fastest time for Langley Park. Also, shout out to both Tony Gardemeister and Stig Blomqvist, who both set times in the top 6. And Kenneth Eriksson also got a top 10 as well. Anyway, those are your results. Doesn't make a difference in the rally. I still come away with P1 by a comfortable margin over Richard Burns, Tommy Mäkinen 3rd, Then we had Toshihiro Arai 4th, Marco Martin 5th, and Petter Solberg finishes P6, ahead of the two Evo 7s of Alistair McRae and Francois Delacour. Then we had Armin Schwartz finishing 9th, and Tony Gardemeister finishes 10th in the Skoda. And then we have 3 of the other 4 Skodas from 10th to 14th. And Sebastian Loeb, last of the finishers. 4 retirements with basically all the main contenders in that rally. Rovanperä, Panizzi and Gronholm all retired from that rally. I have definitely got the championship now. I am sure of it. Not quite that one, it's the other one. So I am pretty sure I have wrapped up the championship with 1 round to go. And those are your point scorers in the Drivers' Championship. Unfortunately, my teammate Marco could only muster 2, but that's fine. Still a decent haul of points for Ford, either way. 13 for Ford, 6 for Peugeot, 6 for Subaru, and 1 for Mitsubishi. And surprisingly no points for Skoda. That's a shame. But anyway, point is, we've won Rally Australia, and we've now unlocked the Sway cheat codes. So mathematically, we have cinched the championship with just 1 rally to go. And I will be so thankful when this is finished. But there we go, it's official. 70 points to Richard Burns 49. And once again, the runner-up position has changed again. Honestly, the AI have just been so inconsistent at certain points in this championship, it's almost been unbelievable. And doesn't look like we're going to get any more than 15 drivers on the board. Well anyway, there we go. So Ford is now only 13 points behind Peugeot in the manufacturers' standings. And then you have to go way back to find Subaru and Mitsubishi, who both look pretty comfortable at this point in their positions. And the bottom 2 look more or less to be clinched in terms of their positions as well. So, 1 round to go in the Expert Championship. And that is in Great Britain. Stay tuned for the next episode of WRC2 Extreme.